Hi everyone, this is going to be a very quick introduction to the 1936 to 1937 Flint sit-down strike. Here we have a photo of an amazing work of art that came out of the GM Flint plant at that time. This will fit into a course on U.S. labor history, if you are so inclined. Here we have a photo of some of the Flint sit-down strikers inside the plant as they occupied it for 44 days. They took out some of the benches from the cars so that they could have something to sit on. What were the workers' conditions like? They had very low job security from year to year and from day to day. The speed up of the assembly line was always a present fact of life. The factories were incredibly hot, and the year of the strike, there were hundreds of deaths in Michigan auto plants. As one wife of an auto worker said, it was the speed up that made life intolerable. My husband would come home so dog tired he couldn't even walk upstairs to bed but crawled on his hands and knees. Here's a photo of strikers hanging an effigy of General Motors out of the plant windows. Working conditions, there was very low pay. Roughly half what the government assessed was required for a family afford to live decently. Many workers were forced to take loans from GM. These came out of their paychecks to the tune of as much as 10% of their wages, and they did not have any unemployment insurance at that time. Walter Moore, a welder and father of 8, said, "Did you ever see a house in the country on fire? They tear up the carpets, rip out the furniture, throw everything out of the windows and doors, work at white heat while great red flames shoot up to the sky. Well, that's a shop. Only in a shop it goes on and on. The fire never goes out." Here's another photo of the period. As we see up front, one of the children of one of the strikers carrying a sign which says, "My daddy strikes for us little tykes on to victory." Workers sought improved wages, conditions, and recognition for their union, the newly formed UAW. Here is the only African American worker that was inside of the plant striking at the time. There were many other African American workers at the GM plant, but they typically worked in the very difficult conditions of the foundry and janitorial services. This is Roscoe Van Sant, who led the march out of the Flint, out of the GM plants whence the strike was victorious. GM, the company, controlled essentially all of Flint, the police, the judges, politicians, and the media. Here we have the GM Flint backed National Guard and police. It's called the Battle of the Bulls Run because the Bulls, the cops, ended up actually being repelled and running away from this fight with the workers. Top GM executives referred to the unionization drive around the country as a threat to property rights and management rights. Management spies worked shoulder by shoulder with workers. After the strike, Charles Stewart Mott, a longtime GM board member and three-time Flint mayor, said, Governor Murphy's, referring to Democratic governor of Michigan at the time, didn't do his job. He didn't protect our property. They should have said to the strikers, "Stop that thing, move on, or we'll shoot." And if they didn't, they should have been shot. Here are some of the National Guard troops lined up. You could see their trucks in the background, and there were some bitter battles and injuries. And that is where we'll end it here. You can see there's a lot more information. And I hope you enjoyed this so far. Thank you. Bye.